Hey guys, it's Mike coming back with my Nationals recap video. Hope everybody's doing good. Had another fantastic National. As usual, I didn't buy too much at the National. I always say my average is about 3 cards, and I bought 2 this time. But I did get some gifts, and nice gifts, and some photographs I'll show you, and just a great time. It's all about, and everybody says it, and it's the truth. It's all about meeting the YouTubers. We didn't have a big turnout from the usual group that I go with on YouTube. Something about Cleveland, I guess, but I like the Cleveland, the Ike Center. I thought it was nice. It's kind of funny to me, if you could take the inside of the Cleveland Center and combine it with the hotels being right around the convention center of Chicago, would be the perfect venue. Cleveland's nice, but you have to take transportation to get there, even from the hotel, just because there's nothing around it. I believe it used to be a former airport hangar of some sort, and there's just nothing around that area. But the interior is really nice. It's got big wide aisles and a lot of place to sit down and eat or rest for a minute. I love the layout on the inside, much better in Chicago. But it was a great time. That was my 5th National. I believe my 3rd, with me and Brian essentially hanging around looking for Hank Greenberg stuff. The mid-grade Greenberg stuff has really dried up. It's hard to find. Even at the National, we didn't see much. We saw some lower grade stuff, and but it's really hard to find vintage Hank stuff. The Johnny bench stuff, didn't see much. Not many autographs. Mostly more common ones. Just a few. Nothing like it was a few years ago. No white whales. Nothing like that. So I don't know what that's a reflection of the times. It's funny, for all the soccer talk, I didn't see any soccer cards hardly at all there. One guy had a bunch, but I don't remember seeing much of anything. I saw more hockey cards this time than I've ever seen, that's for sure. And a lot of basketball, of course. And rookies are the main thing now. I think they get more of that than they do the vintage anymore. But it was great seeing the RBI crew guys. Tyson, I was so sorry for him. He was in an accident. And I hope you're feeling better, buddy. And Ryan and Neil, it's good to see them again. That table was so busy. And John was there. Ben was there. It sounded like they all did really well at the show, so I was glad to hear that. And it's more about the times with the people. Brian and I were walking the show like we did the last 2 years. We spent a lot of time with Everett and Joey, and that was a blast. Just great guys. Met some really good guys too, and saw some former ones I've known before. One night at the hotel, we had Dave Verstati and his wife Shelby. She's real sweet, and it's nice to meet them. Everett and oh goodness, it was just about everybody. Mike O was there. I saw Ed there. I saw Dave was there, and oh goodness, I'm gonna leave some people out, I'm sure. It's Hitman. I saw him. Ted, if I mention him, was a great one to talk to. Him being more my age, we can talk about the old players from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Just a blast that night. We just had some drinks and opened cards, and I busted a box of Stadium Club and really didn't get much of anything that night. Next night, we went well, Brian busted the box of Pantheon that night. He got a couple nice cards out of that. I'll let you all watch the videos and I'll ruin those. The next night, we went out to dinner with, it was me and Brian and Everett and Dave and Michael and Ted. We had a great time. That was a blast. Good restaurant, good wings. That place had great wings. Then we went back to the hotel room, and that's when Brian busted that tribute box and got a really sweet hit out of that. I won't ruin that either. I'll let you watch that video. And Joey went to the VIP party at Panini, and Everett and I actually busted NASCAR boxes, and I busted a Topps box too, Series 2, but I didn't get anything much out of that one either. But Brian did hit big, so I'll let you watch that video if you haven't. That was really fun. But again, it's all about the people, and I got 2 cards. I got a lot more gifts than anything, and some really nice stuff from some really generous people. When I got to the show, Brian gave me a handful of cards. He gave me this beautiful Allen Ginter printing plate 1 of 1 of bench from 2017. Loved the framed printing plates. He gave me this Metropolis Monuments card from Pantheon, a bench, Rose, Morgan, and Perez, numbered at 25. Very sweet. And he gave me this wonderful Our National Game pin back of Hank. And I didn't have a good copy of the little card it comes on, so this is sweet. Thank you, Brian, for those. I actually bought I did get a Johnny Damon card off of him from my wife. She's a big Damon fan, and my brother-in-law. She'll look at it, and then I'll probably end up giving it to him. But they both loved Damon from back when. They're both big Red Sox fans, and he was an integral part of that 2004, I guess it's 2004 team that won it and broke the curse. Someone I can't remember who gave me this Ginter card at bench. Might have been Mike, I'm not for sure. Might have been Ed. I'm not for sure, but it was very cool. Thank you for that. And Everett gave me this John Randall Vikings card. I've been a suffering Vikings fan since '75, which 43 years now. I've been waiting for them to win a Super Bowl, if ever. And Everett had a trade box, and he had this sweet on-card Fran Tarkenton from Upper Deck NFL Legends autographed. That's very cool. And while I was at the show, Nick Mitzi gave me these cards. A bench. This green numbered museum. And a couple of these continuity cards. I've done the set, but I always take more. I love these cards. And this gold label that I didn't have this one, so Nick, you did great. That's a perfect one right there. And this is our museum collection, the 150, a blue one from last year. Remember that design because you're going to see it here in just a second. As I was on the floor one day, Nick got this card in, and Joey brought it to my attention. A guy brought it around, and he bought it from him at his table, and then I came over and bought it. This is from that same set, 2017 museum collection, but this is the green 1 of 1 base. I do like doing rainbows of some of the major top sets each year, including this museum collection. That is sweet. I'm so happy to get that. Funny how something like that will just pop up at the National from somebody selling something. And then this card here is a card, it's numbered to 10 from 2016 Pantheon. Brian got the same card at the National last year. I've been waiting all year for another one to pop up, and it never did. We were talking about it during the National this year, and saying how it's funny I haven't been able to find one of these. And then literally as soon as we discussed that, Brian saw it at the next booth, the next table we went to. It's numbered out of 10, and it's out of that same set, Metropolis Monument. It's kind of like the Mount Rushmore cards for Pantheon. And it's got Greenberg and Cobb and Trammell and K-Line. So these are really tough to get, so I was so happy to get that one for the collection. And what else? I got a few cards in the mail while I was gone. I'll go ahead and show them real quick. I got this Topps Stadium Club Gold Chrome card, which is very cool. And this is a really sweet card. I bought this, I think, right before I left for National. This is a definitive from this year. That's a Johnny Bench inscription card with Hall of Fame 89. Numbered to 5. He has 4 different cards in the definitive set, and this is the last one I needed, so I've got them all now. Unless I go rainbow hunting. That is sweet. Very glad to get that. Like I said, Greenberg stuff was very hard to find. A lot of his mid-grade stuff is dried up. Even we saw one postcard that was nice, but it was way overpriced. No cut autos. The only other thing I buy that Brian doesn't seem too keen on, but I like them, is these vintage photograph vintage photographs from the 30s and 40s. So this is from most of them are like 7x9. There's a few 8x10 size. You'll see them in various sizes. These pictures were taken and then used by the newspapers in their stories. If any of you young guys even read newspapers anymore, they take this 8x10, make it into a picture in the paper, and then they use the caption that's on the back of the picture to put underneath the picture in the newspaper. This is one from this is dated August 7th, 1935, so this would have been from the 1935 World Series. It's got Hank and Charlie Gehringer and I think Rogel, and I can't remember what the other one is. But that's an awesome picture of them in the dugout. In 1936, Hank got injured. Let's see, it's dated April 30th. He got injured early in the season and essentially missed the whole season that year. And this is a picture of him after he broke his wrist, and after they had taped him, or after they had bandaged him up real good. I think these are really cool. I like collecting. They're kind of pricey sometimes, and I don't like to spend too much money on them. But when there's significant moments in his career or the team's he was on year, like the World Series, I like buying them. So that's really cool. And my camera's not doing them images in these plastic holders. They're really sharp pictures. This one's interesting for the dates. This is Hank. He served in 1941 for 6 months. But that's all you had to serve then, because we weren't at war at the time. This is showing him getting dressed, ready to go home after he was discharged. And the interesting part of this thing, to me, was the date on the back. This picture was taken on December 6, 1941. Those who know your American history well will know this was taken the day before Pearl Harbor. And he was getting ready to go home. He was discharged the day before Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor happened on the 7th. And he re-enrolled 2 days later, I believe. And he'd missed most of 41 because of service. And then he missed the next 3.5 years up until July of 45. So he missed 42, 43, 44, and then up until July of 45. And he came back on July 1st. But just for the dating, I thought that piece was really nice. And I got all 4 of these at the same dealer. He gave me a good deal on the 4. This is one that's really nice. This was taken, this is the main picture from the set. Hank was with the Tigers from 1930 to 1946. And he had a contract, but he was disputing it at the time. And the Tigers, instead of negotiating, just sold his contract. He was getting older, still had a great year in '46. And but they just didn't back then. Owners were different. They didn't think they didn't want to bargain as much back then. They just dumped his contract over to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh took it. And he found out in the newspapers, I believe, or maybe the radio, I'm not for sure, that he'd even been traded to the Tigers. He only played 1 year for him in '47, and I think he kind of lost his fire for the game after that. And he retired and became the manager or general manager of the Indians after that. But anyway, in February of '47, as he was getting ready to go report for some pre-spring, for some business with the Pirates, it was known that Babe Ruth was not getting along well. He was getting ill, and he stopped at his apartment in New York to visit him. And there's a few pictures that's popped up on eBay, and they get good money. This is one that is dated February 23rd, 1947. And if the guy sold it to me, and I haven't verified it, he told me that that Babe Ruth passed away like 5 months after this picture was taken. This is a picture of Hank visiting Babe Ruth at his New York apartment in 1947. Hank and him admiring one of the Babe Ruth bats, and looks like Babe was showing him how his famous grip on the bat. And again, these pictures, I'm in a holder. These pictures are really nice and clear pictures that they used for the papers back then. And that is just really cool. I love Babe wearing his smoking jacket, or just a very classy type guy. As well as Hank. It's a different era back then from what you see sometimes today. But I just love that picture. And that's the main reason I bought the lot. But just very cool. So those are the pictures I got, and I do enjoy buying the vintage pictures when they, like I said, relate to a significant part of Hank's career or the team's career during the time he was on it. If you collect any vintage players, Vandals and stuff like that, I'm sure you bought some of that kind of stuff too. But I love seeing that kind of stuff. That's everything I got, and mail-wise and at the National. But it was my 5th year, and it was probably my favorite year just because of all the people, and just had a blast. I was exhausted when I got home Sunday, but after one day back at work, I was ready to go back to the National. It's just a wonderful time. If you haven't done it before, you need to, and I hope most of the YouTube people that normally go will be in Chicago next year. God willing, I'll be there myself. And keep the quest for Hank and Johnny going. Well, thanks for watching, and keep making those videos. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you, Lord willing, soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.